Welcome back sa MMTV at kasama po natin ngayon ang kandidato ng NEB Party para sa riding ng Montreal.
At syempre, Michael, walang iba kundi si Mario Jacinto Rimbao. Kumusta?
Mabuti. Thank you for having me.
What motivated you to pursue politics?
The main reason is change. People want change. The Stephen Harper government under the Conservatives has done a lot of damage to Canadian society. And we need a big change. And honestly, this year has been special because a lot of people now are really dying for change. I grew up in Côte-des-Neiges, in the Côte-des-Neiges district of the MountRoyal riding. And it's a very diverse area. And one thing is for sure, I've been speaking to people one-on-one, and the idea for change is that people lost confidence in Ottawa, and that's because of Stephen Harper's government. And with regards also on a personal note, last year was a very difficult year for me, and I lost my mother. She died of a complication in her triple bypass, but also it was a year that my daughter was born. So basically, I lost the woman that gave me life, but I gained my daughter who brought me life. And that's something very personal. That even my mom, I told her the idea. I was going to get into politics because we need change, and I've seen the Medicare system going down, and daycare spaces are lacking in Quebec. And my wife and I had a hard time finding a daycare space. So the balance between my mom and my daughter motivated me to go into politics and also to give the people a voice. And funny enough, the last words that my mother and I spoke to each other, she told me that, listen, anak, you want to run into politics? Go ahead, and you're going to win. So this is also, it's a very good sign. So this is a very personal note for that. And, you know, we need a voice in Ottawa. We need to get back on track to repair the damage that Stephen Harper has done.
Yeah, that's good.
You are competing against two politicians who have many years of experience in politics.
Yes.
So what is your advantage over them?
My advantage over those two other candidates is basically I'm a man of the people. I speak to the people. I hear their issues and I hear their concerns. There's been a neglect in politics, with especially the Conservative government. The people today are not really interested in Ottawa or federal politics. It's due to the fact that there's neglect. And that's why, for me, on a personal note, I have the voice of the people. I have an ear of the people. Growing up in the area and listening to their issues. And another advantage I have is that the other two candidates have experience in municipal politics. We all are in the same boat where none of us have been in Ottawa. This is for the federal level. And for the past 15 years, I've worked in the maritime industry, and I've dealt with all the federal ministries, such as Transport Canada, CBSA, which is Canada Border Services, CFIA, which is the Canadian Foods Inspection Agency, Health Canada, Labour Canada, the Launch and Pilotage, Port Authorities. So 15 years of dealing with federal government entities, which I know the other two candidates don't have experience on, that's where I have the advantage over the other two candidates.
Your slogan, it says, politics should be for progress and not for profit. Can you explain that?
Basically, politics is for progress, not for profit. That's a good question, Tenny. Progress, which refers to the people. The people have to be represented. When I say politics is for progress, it's for the people to be heard. In other words, to have a good representation in Ottawa. When I say about profit, it's regards to what the Harper government has done. He's given more favor to big corporations and people with more money and has neglected the middle class. So that's one thing, is that politics, the obligation of a government is for everybody, not for one demographic or one class of people, which is what the Conservative government has done under Harper. So that's the thing, giving back confidence into Ottawa is for progress and not for profit. And that's what I emphasize, is the people have to be heard.
If you win, you would become the first Filipino-Canadian from Quebec to become a member of parliament. Why do you think it's important for Filipinos to become part of this history?
Oh, Michael, let's be honest, and especially here in Montreal or in Quebec, we have 35,000 Filipinos, give or take, and we're very hardworking in terms of our community. We contribute a lot to our society, and the thing is, the people haven't been heard, literally, and this is a motivation for our future generations in our community that we should get into politics. We already have an MP that was there from Winnipeg, and why not from Quebec? We also have Mabel Elmore, which was also a provincial MLA in British Columbia. So we need to start that in Quebec, and I'm hoping to set the trend for future generations to let Filipinos get involved into politics, because this is something that we have to emphasize, and again, get back the confidence of the people back into Ottawa.
And what about the ethnic communities? What is the goal of the NDP party for the ethnic communities in Quebec?
Michael, that's a good question. With regards to the ethnic communities, like I said, I grew up in the Côte-de-Neiges district, which is one of the most culturally diverse areas in Quebec. And one thing for sure for this campaign, what the NDP is trying to emphasize is to welcome the newcomers into the country. Now, it's not a question only about integration into the society, but it's also a question of education. A lot of people come here, and the reason why they're not involved in politics or anything else in that matter, whether it's municipal, provincial, or federal, is because of the lack of education. One thing I'm going to emphasize when I meet people one-on-one, a lot of people don't know their rights. They don't know when the election is. They don't know where to vote. Where is the writing office? Where is Elections Canada office? How to register as a voter. So participation is very important. And that's the thing, that last election is one of the most important things to note, is that 57% of potential voters only voted. There was a lacking of 43%. That's almost half the voters. Now, why is that? Because lack of education, lack of participation. And that's one thing I want to emphasize in terms of this election and this campaign, is to educate the people and to let them know that you have the democratic right. We are proud in Canada. We are one of the biggest, best democracies in the world. And they have to take advantage of that they do have a right to vote and to be part of the government process.
Yes, for sure. What about immigration?
When it comes to the ethnic communities, for example, in our community, in the Filipino communities, that there's a caregiving program. A lot of people come in here to work as caregivers, healthcare and day caregivers, workers. So with regards to that, we're trying to emphasize that, yes, we are also helping people integrate. But immigration is that a lot of people are sacrificing, waiting 5 to 10 years just to see their family. So family reunification is very important for the immigration policies that we have. So usually it's 5 to 10 years waiting because of the Harper government, and he's even trying to reduce immigration. The NDP want to increase immigration and reduce the waiting times for families. Imagine 5 to 10 years sacrificing every single day, not seeing your loved ones. That's too much, and we see a lot of that, especially in the MountRoyal riding. So we're trying to change that. And also, in terms of immigration, which is related to the caregiving program, we want to emphasize that not only we're trying to help people reunify, but for their children to have a better health care and education. So to emphasize the future generations. So all the hard work that they do is going to be worth something in the future.
Can you give a message to the televiewers, Filipino and non-Filipino viewers?
Yes. So in terms of this year's election, this is a special year, honestly. For 2015, we are fed up of the Harper government and the Conservatives. We have to have change, a real, viable change. And the change is the NDP. We have to stop thinking about voting traditional vote, thinking about what we've voted before, because in hope for change. We need a real change, and that is the NDP. So I hope in this year, we can actually do this with Thomas Mulcair as a leader. Thomas Mulcair is the only one who can replace Stephen Harper, and I hope he can make history for the first time in Mount Royal. Let's walk together and have an NDP MP in Ottawa. Thank you.
Thank you so much and good luck.